Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the AOFAR HX1000i rangefinder. This is more specific to the archers of the world out there, but I'm pretty sure we should be able to use this for regular firearms as well, or whatever. Anyways, so this was sent to me by AOFAR. They reached out to me, so they sent it to me, no charge, but I still have full autonomy over my videos to give my own opinion of what I really think of products, because that's how I roll. My soul's not for sale at any cost. So, there you go. Let's keep her going. Now, I already have the HX700N, which is a little bit different model because it doesn't support angles, okay, where this one does, and it does all the math for you. You don't have to be a nuclear physicist or a quantum physics, whatever, okay? So they have their own video on YouTube that's about 50 or 60 seconds long, and they have some snippets which does actually give you a better visual, better explanation of how this thing works over what the manual does in that one section. But what they do go over in the manual absolutely makes 100% sense, because I've run into this problem myself. Last time we shot 3D out at the club for you guys, one of the targets we shot at was this double-horned black. Turns out it's a buck. It's not a goat. I thought it was a goat, but hey, whatever. I've never seen a black buck before, but always something new, right? So anyways, before we get into this though, it does come with this really nice camouflage case, which is really nice. You can go by belt loop, or you can actually use the Velcro, put it on your backpack strap, or you've got carabiner hookup. So you've got a few different options there for how you're going to attach it to yourself. And of course, when it's in there, what I like to do is roll this right up like this, shove it in the bag, close it, and then this way this isn't hanging out, getting caught up on branches and twigs and all that other jazz, okay? So, and it's got a nice little locking clasp on this one too that holds very secure. And then you just push the button, open it up, and dig her out, and away you go. So, very nice case too. Very nice quality as well. All right, so in their hunting area, now this thing is going to do your range for you. Obviously on straight out horizontal, it's going to take into account for any angles like, ups, downs, and whatever you're going to shoot. We're going to get more into that in a minute. It also has a scanning mode that allows you to do live scanning of multiple targets at the same time. Just put into scan mode, hold down the button, and zzz, I like that one, okay? It also tracks the speed of the animal, okay, which is also really cool. Now, it does that in meters per second, not in kilometers an hour or miles per hour. That would have been, I think, to be honest, a little bit more practical than meters per second, because a lot of people don't understand meters per second against miles per hour or kilometers an hour. So I think they should add that into maybe the next revision, like get rid of that meters per second. Give us the option between kilometers or miles per hour. It's more practical, I think. Now, with that being said, too, you have yards or meters that you can choose for your ranging, okay? I prefer the yards because all of our bows, no matter where we live, are all set up as yards, especially for high precision sights. They go 1 yard increments, okay? Kind of like the Spot Hog Fast Eddie that I have, or the HHA, or many other sites out there that have that kind of a dial it in and go, it's kind of a screw up system. Once you've got it dialed in perfect, that you're perfect yard for yard, then yeah, they are freaking outstanding sights, okay? Manual sight users, well, you guys are going to have to learn your pins, learn your spacings, and all your spacings for all your possible yardages you're going to shoot at. So that's another thing to take into consideration. You might want to upgrade to a more high precision sight, perhaps. Anyways, so you got a battery indicator as well. It also comes with 1 CR2 battery, which you can commonly get just about anywhere that sells batteries. I do say just about anywhere. And no, it does not include Dollarama or Dollar Tree. They don't sell CR2s, okay? And if they did, I wouldn't give you a nickel for them anyway, because they sell the cheapest, crummiest batteries on the planet, but they're batteries, right? But not very good. So Amazon works, Canadian Tire, Walmart. Get a name brand battery as a replacement battery, or get a bulk pile of no-name batteries, all right? The battery that does come with it, though, will last you a long, long time either way. So you won't have to worry about your battery dying in the next, 6 months or something, right? Anyhow, So I want you guys to watch their video because you're going to get a better visual of this part, okay? Now, their numbers that they did on this were a little ridiculous, but also very true. So if you're up in a tree perched up and you've got an animal down here, like in this case it's a buck, okay, you're going to see a line of sight, which is basically what these work off of on the horizontal only plane, okay? This does not account for angles, okay? So you're going to see 388 yards is what they have here, okay? But we'll get into a little bit more realistic numbers in a minute. So your bottom number here that they show is your horizontal distance data. So that means 334 yards, okay? Now, what they explain in the manual to that effect is how to, nope, not the accuracy. Actually, maybe that will help us a little bit. Sorry, guys, I need a magnifying glass. Okay, nope, don't need that part. Okay, so what we need in the manual is their hunting area. All right, so the way they explain it here, if your straight line distance between the hunter and the prey is 32 yards, okay? Now, if you are at the same level as the animal, 32 yards is 32 yards, so there is to it. But you're also still sighting from where you are to where that animal is, regardless of your angle and height, you're going to get a straight line, okay, regardless. So they say at 32 yards, the prey, the angle is minus 44 degrees because of the height difference, right? Horizontal distance is therefore 23 yards, so you should shoot it at 23 yard setting instead of 32, as you will shoot over the top of the deer if you shoot it at 32 yards because of the angle, okay? And bow hunters want to know true horizontal distance because that's how they practice shooting, and once they confidently know that, they can make the necessary adjustments. Giving the bow hunter anything else other than a horizontal distance creates additional confusion and uncertainty, which I tend to agree with. And that's about all we need to read from the manual. There is more information in here. Everything aside, the manual is really super good, but I think it does lack. It should have at least had this picture to show you versus what they're trying to tell us, okay? But their video at least does cover it. Now, this is a fairly new rangefinder on the market, so not many people have it. Those that do have it that I've watched, they don't even friggin' understand this whole angle of attack thing properly, and the others, they don't even talk about it really. This is a feature, but they don't obviously understand it, or they would have told us in the video. That's what I'm here for. I explain it. So on this picture, they're telling you straight up the upper, we're going to add to this so that you understand a little bit better English. The upper number shows the angle and the horizontal distance. Okay, the lower shows a straight line distance, which means if you are at the same level as the animal, 27 yards is 27 yards, 35 yards is 35 yards. That is the pin you use, or where you dial it on your dialable sight like I have with my Spot Hog. We dial at that range. And that's all there is to it, because we are at the same level as the animal, period. But if we are below the animal and it is above, we will get an alternate reading because we have these two readings here. But in this case, we're above the animal, so the easiest way to explain, and then you can flip it around your head later, okay? So the top number is what we want to go with. Now, you're going to get a bottom reading of that 388 yards, okay? But you need to dial for 334 yards to hit 388 yards. Okay, because all projectiles fly on an arc. Now, some are on a steeper arc than others, but you have different arcs you need to deal with when it comes to being perched up high or you're low and the animal's high. Okay, you're dealing with totally different arcs there. And by the way, it has not a damn thing to do with gravity or how the Earth's curvature is, okay? Now, when I shot at that two-horned buck, I can't remember the yardage, but we'll just say 27 yards, okay? I shot over that animal by several inches. So that's a far cry from when I set my HX700 here, And I said, okay, 27 yards. All right, looks good to me. I'm on the vitals. Let's go for this. So I set my dial to 27 yards. That should have been a bang-on dead shot. But because it's on an angle like this, I'm up here, it's down there, everything changes. Everything for distances. And this particular model does not account for angles where this HX 1000 does. Now the 1000 also means it's good to 1,000 yards, okay? And they explain that in depth in the manual too, okay? So you got a big number, you got a small number, you dial to the small number in this case because you're up high. And it probably does flip the other direction going the other way. We'd have to do some testing obviously on that. But pretty sure that's how it would work because it's opposite, right? Anyways, you can see they're aiming at the neck of the animal here. You can see our little bow and arrow, which you'll see in your own display. So 388 yards at an angle like this. But we want 334 yards because otherwise we're going to shoot over top the animal. We're going to miss. And deer spook easy. And once you've spooked it, it's gone, right? So don't set for the bottom number on your display, set for the top number on the display in this case, okay? Because that's the true number you need. I did a test in the front yard, and it said 39 yards on the bottom, it said 38 yards on the top. Therefore, at the kind of elevation point I was at, and the tree was lower elevation, and where I was aiming at the tree on the ground, it said 39 yards. Now, if I took a 39-yard shot at 39 on that angle, I would be shooting well above, okay? So I need to set for the 1 yard less, and that's 3 feet. Every yard is 3 feet. That's a big jump, isn't it? But that multiplies a lot over yardage. See, we do get fudge room to a certain point, but not to that extreme we don't. So we need to set for the 38 yards, not the 39, and this helps you out. So I pointed the thing up at the house at the smokestack chimney so that I'm at the bottom and it's at the top, and I got a different reading. And I'm like, that's freaking interesting, okay? So I know how it's going to work, and that's how it's going to work, is how they explain it here. This sort of explanation, especially this picture alone with this writing telling us, that would have been something that they should have had on that page. But they didn't go that far into it, and they really should have. So for that, they get a bit of a ding mark. However, this thing is also IPX4 waterproof, by the way, which is really nice. Doesn't mean you can take it down on the ocean or the lake swimming with you, but it does have an IPX4 rating. So if you look up that rating scale, it'll tell you what kind of waterproofness this would actually contain. And you do have your mode button, your power button. Your power button has more than one function, obviously, too. You've got your focus control here, because this also works as a 6x magnification monocular, okay? Now, if we take a look at the box real quick here, it's going to give us some basic information on the box, okay? And it's going to tell us that it's from 5 yards to 300 yards for hunting, or 5 meters to 274 meters. At the tree, it's 5 to 500. Reflective is 5 to 1,000 yards range. Scan for continuous. Speed for the move test for your moving of your animal. Your bow mode, and of course waterproof construction as well. Laser technology, etc., etc. And I mean, you can turn this thing on and you can look at it even though there's a laser, but you'll never see it, so it won't do any harm to your eyes. Safest laser on the planet. Anyways, now, as far as I'm concerned, this thing should only get a 4.5 out of 5. Number one, it's not perfect. Number two, the manual does need to be a bit clearer to help explain to people, because out of the YouTubers I watch, which I can count them all on one hand, none of them figured this thing out as far as how this whole angle thing works. One guy took a random guess. He was on a good track, but the others, no. Okay, AOFAR, their video is less than a minute, but at least we get some pictures. We get a reference point, and now we know that if we are up high, we have to go by the top number, not the bottom number, and vice versa probably. And if you're on the straight horizontal and you're hitting horizontal because you're at the same level as the animal, that will be your reading. The bottom number will be the bottom number. That's all there is to it, okay? Because you are on the same level, okay? But when you're like this or you're like this, things change, and where you aim at changes as well. It's the best explanation I can give you on that one. All right. Other than that, it seems to be a quality built unit. It does seem to be very good quality. It is actually smaller and lighter than my HX 700, which has definitely less features because it doesn't have the angles for sure. The case is really nice and it's good quality. Like I said, just wrap it up like this, shove her in there, and you have that that monocular that's got some good zoom to it. And the focusing eyepiece, whether you have glasses or not, you can dial in a pretty much perfect picture. I mean, they're not top of the level, top of the line optics, but they're really damn good. Okay, and I have no problem seeing with or without my glasses. I can dial in a perfect focus, and I can do that even on my HX 700 as well. So I would encourage you to take a good serious look at this 1000 series. I think it is definitely worth buying, and it is definitely going to help your bow hunting success by like 500%. Like just like that, over going from a normal rangefinder to this one. Also, if you've never used a rangefinder before, this will save you the confusion of, should I buy the 700 series or should I buy the 1000 or should I buy this one? Well, I think in the case of, you know, we're bow hunters, and this is specifically geared to bow hunters, and probably a few of their other units are too, but this would be the one unit that I would say, one of them, I would highly recommend. Now, I do still highly recommend the 700. However, knowing what I know now and by checking this one over, this is going to give us our better advantage. So if I had to choose between the two right now, especially with what I do know, I would have to say, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to go with the 1000 over the 700, because the 1000 is going to increase my odds of hitting the vitals on that animal like 1,000-fold. Okay, because I will have that truest setting that I'll be able to go by. No guesswork, no spine shots, no stomach shots, hopefully. Well, you can still get a stomach shot, but the idea here is you aim at the vitals, you take your reading. If you're perched up like this guy is in the picture, that's the way it's going to go. You got to go with the bottom number, which is the true distance of where you actually have to set your sight for and aim for. And bingo, bango. Everything goes well, you've got a dead animal with a great shot. Anyways, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry it was a little long. Thank you again, AOFAR, for thinking of me and reaching out to me to do this review for you guys. Yeah, I'm very excited to get out to deer hunting, too. We only got a couple more days left, a few more sleeps, man. Time to go deer hunt and get ourselves a deer. So, see you on the next one. Ciao.